Hi everyone, Sarah here to bring you some good stories for the day. So today's stories take place in the mountains. So one story, the first one, is the Himalayas in Pakistan, and our second story comes from the Great Smoky Mountains in the United States. So let's talk about the first one. So the first story is about a woman. Her name is Shabano, and Shabano lives in a tiny, very remote area in the Himalayas in Pakistan. And when she was pregnant, there's no midwife in any of the villages at the time that there was no midwife in any of the villages at the time that she was pregnant. So when she was giving birth, she was in labor from anywhere from 3 to 4 days. That's right, days. And there was nobody to help her, nobody to help with pain management. So after her experience, she decided to become a midwife, which she did successfully. And now she cares for the women in these remote villages in and around the Himalayas in Pakistan. And one thing to know about where these villages are is most of her clients are, poor, impoverished. There's no roads, so she walks to all of these villages, and they're quite perilous. And she's helped birth about 100 babies thus far. Initially, she wasn't a paid job, so she was getting, payment through tea and other resources that her clients had to give. Now it's an actual paid position through the government of Pakistan, though they are paying her for it. And the good news is now, instead of her being the only midwife, there's around 3 to 4 other midwives that are helping service these villages in this remote area. And she has a midwife kit and a blood pressure machine, and she brings it to all of her visits, and she'll help deliver babies as long as the woman's pregnancy is normal. And I just find this fascinating, because this woman, experienced what I would describe, even though I have no kids of my own except for the 4-legged variety, a pretty lengthy labor process. And she realized that there was a need, and she went out and did this on her own, and now is servicing the very people that she lives with, and also gets to see these children that she helped give birth to. So that's story number 1, and that is in the Himalayas. The next story brings us back to the United States and into the Great Smoky Mountains. And so I bring this up because of the current government shutdown. And I try really hard not to talk about politics. That's been kind of my goal so far. But I like this story. I think it's this type of story has been reported already. So it's very short. So a daughter and her dad is named Mark Newland, and she has a daughter named Erica, and they had typically scheduled these daddy-daughter days, which I think is great, and they usually go for hikes. They really enjoy the outdoors, and they live in or around the Great Smoky Mountains. And they realized that once the government went through shutdown, that these parks were closed. This particular national park, the last day of normal funding, ended on New Year's Day. Since then, the Department of Interior has a contingency fund to help national parks. But of course, it's limited in its funding. And one of the issues with national parks is because there's no staff there, there are garbage is piling up, toilets are getting clogged. Of course, humans have the capacity of not picking up after themselves. And so Erica and her dad, especially Erica, who's 10, realized that once they heard this, they're like, oh, could be a problem in the park that we go to. So now they've taken upon themselves to, when they go on these hikes, it's not really just about hiking. It's about picking up garbage and cleaning up the park in the absence of the staff that would typically work there. And I particularly love nature, and I think it's wonderful that people are taking it upon themselves to contribute and help clean up these parks. I hope more people are doing this. And it looks like from a Facebook page in which these folks have contributed to, that many people who are going to national parks are doing this very same thing. So I don't think these are the only ones. So both of our stories have to do with mountains. And the last story, of course, has to do with the government shutdown. And again, my real goal is not to make this channel about politics. I'm really trying hard not to do that. However, I had an interesting conversation with my doctor today. I'm unfortunately sick, and we were chatting about our current president's speech that he's giving tonight about the justification of building a wall. And we had a good conversation, and it was a conversation. And this is a person, my doctor is a person who considers herself as an independent, but, believes that people who are in the United States illegally are breaking the law. And, I support that to some degree. But regardless of our views, my point is that our views were different. But we were able to have a conversation about it. And we were able to talk about it. We didn't get angry. We weren't yelling. We weren't using profanity. And I'm hoping that, this channel is to bring some happiness to your day. That's really why I'm doing it. But part of being happy, I think, is the ability to talk to people who don't always agree with your viewpoints. And in the hopes that maybe each one of you can see where the other person is coming from. So anyways, that's my 2 cents worth. It's fine if you don't agree with it. Again, I hope you liked the stories, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.